This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start the English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Now here is mixed chorus, Song of General Kim Il-sung. here is male chorus, Song of General Kim Jong-il. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, had a photo session with the commanding officers and soldiers of the units at all levels that participated in the military parade for celebrating the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army on February the 9th. Present on the occasion were Lee Byung-chul, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and Secretary of the Party Central Committee, Lee Yong-gil, Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and Kang Soo-il, Park Soo-il, and Dong Yong-taek, commanding personnel of the military. Acknowledging the stormy cheers, Kim Jong-un extended military greetings to the officers and men who contributed to glorifying the military parade for celebrating the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army as a political and military event to be specially recorded in the history, more clearly showing the dignity, greatness, high honor, and bright future of our state. He said the parade of the great armed forces in the square led by honorable colors is a clear demonstration of the immortal heroism, militant stamina, and absolute strength of our army, which has written the glorious history of victory of the DRPK with precious blood and innumerable feats on the forefront of the revolution, regarding the loyalty to the party and the motherland as its highest mission. He noted that the Tower of Prosperity, which is not firmly based on the powerful army, is no more than a mirage in the present world, where one can demonstrate his or her dignity and honor only when he or she becomes strong and prove the validity of his or her cause only with victory. The peculiarities of the Korean Revolution, which should control and suppress the ever more ferocious imperialist tyranny with strength, demand our army become stronger at a fast speed, incomparable to the past history, without resting content with today's achievements, he added. Kim Jong-un expressed the belief that the Korean People's Army, entrusted with an important mission as the vanguard of the revolution, nobody can fulfill in defending the everlasting prosperity of the country and security of the people, would reliably guarantee the new historic advance of the revolution with arms, vigorously demonstrating the honor of the ever-victorious heroic army, and had a photo session with the officers and men. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, had a photo session with the party staff in the celebrations of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army on February the 9th. Present on the occasion were Lee Byung-chul, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea and Secretary of the Party Central Committee, Lee Yong-gil, Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and Kang Sun-nam, Park Soo-il, and Dong Yong-taek, commanding personnel of the military. Kim Jong-un extended warm greetings, waving back to the enthusiastically cheering participants. He said that all the achievements in this country are warmly associated with the precious blood and sweat and priceless devotion of our revolutionary army, and that the long history of the Korean Revolution shines with victory and glory thanks to the immortal exploits of our People's Army, regarding the loyalty to the idea and cause of the Workers' Party of Korea as its faith. Ever victorious army should be the eternal name of our People's Army, he said, and called for carrying forward forever the glorious 75-year-long history of the Revolutionary Army, which has supported the invincibility and mightiness of total Korea with arms, keeping the precious honor possessed only by the Revolutionary Armed Forces of our party as the greatest wealth. Kim Jong-un had a photo session with the participants, expressing the belief that the heroic Korean People's Army would remain loyal to its sacred cause to the end, always sharing its fate with the party, country, and people, and braving all sorts of challenges.
A grand military parade was held at Kim Il-sung Square in the capital city of Pyongyang on February the 8th, to celebrate the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army, the Revolutionary Armed Forces of the Workers' Party of Korea. Columns of all branches of services and arms of the Revolutionary Armed Forces and latest arms and equipment were lining up in the square, the venue of the military parade for commemorating the Army Day and the thoroughfares adjacent to it. The state-merited cars entered the square to play musical pieces for the military parade. Paratroopers glided with difficult folding skill and parachuted down, flying the large national flag and party flags. Then there was a ceremony of the general band. Parading units entered the square with the glorious colors ahead. Colors of the combined units of the Korean People's Army at all levels entered the square. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, arrived at the square together with his beloved daughter and wife, Lee Sol-soo. A ceremony of the Guards of Honor of the Korean People's Army was solemnly held to receive him. Kim Jong-un reviewed the Guards of Honor of the Korean People's Army and colors of the major units of the armed forces of the DRPK. Commanding officers of the Ministry of National Defense, commanders of the large combined units, and other general officers of the Korean People's Army courteously received him. Kim Jong-un warmly encouraged the commanding officers of the army. He came out the rostrum of the square where the military parade will be held. He warmly waved back to the paraders and people, raising enthusiastic cheers. Members of the Children's Union presented him with fragrant bouquets. The rostrum was taken by Kim Do-kun, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea and Vice Chairman of the State Affairs Commission and Premier of the Cabinet of the DRPK, Lee Byung-chul, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission of the party, and Secretary of the Party Central Committee. Lee Young-gil, Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea and Secretary of the Party Central Committee, leading officials of the armed forces organs, and military and political commanding personnel of the large combined units and combined units of the Korean People's Army. Cho Young-won, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea and Secretary for Organizational Affairs of the Party Central Committee and Secretaries of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, took the seats reserved for honored guests together with the daughter of Kim Jong-un. Reserved seats were taken by the participants in the celebrations of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army and those who set an example in assisting the army. A ceremony of hoisting the national flag of the DRPK was solemnly held. A 21-gun salute was fired amid a solemn playing of the song The Glorious Motherland. Then there was a preliminary inspection of the military parade. Kang Sun-nam, Minister of National Defense of the DRPK, made a report to Marshal Lee Byung-chul, Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea, that the parading units have lined up for the preliminary inspection of the military parade. Lee Byung-chul inspected the parading units. Marshal Lee Byung-chul courteously reported to the respected Comrade Kim Jong-un that they are ready to hold a military parade for celebrating the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army. At last, the grand parading march of the powerful Revolutionary Army started, which has glorified the history of victory of the glorious DRPK. The column of honorary cavalrymen marched in the van of the parading ranks. The column symbolizing the 7th Regiment during the anti-Japanese struggle marched bravely, holding high the first colors of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Korea with the letters Anti-Japanese People's Guerrilla Army on them. Shining along with the colors in the front row of the parading rank were the pictures of the anti-Japanese revolutionary forerunners, including Kim Chek, An Gil, and Chae Yong-gun, who provided the origin of tradition of victory, which will be immortal in the history of struggle of the Revolutionary Armed Forces. The column symbolizing the Life Guard Company during the Fatherland Liberation War entered the square with the portraits of veteran revolutionaries of the Life Guard Company origin, such as Hyun Chol-hae, Yun Hyung-muk, and Park Song-bong in front of it. The column symbolizing the 1st National Defense Division, the 2nd Light Infantry Division, the 3rd Independent Infantry Brigade, and the 4th Infantry Division, shining in the history of the Great Fatherland Liberation War, marched, carrying the portraits of Chae Kwang, Chae Hyun, Ryu Kyung-soo, Oh Ji-nur, and other commanding officers who left clear traces in the history of their units and the history of strengthening and developing the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Korea. Marching behind them were the columns of the Guards section of the Party Central Committee, the Guards Department of the State Affairs Commission, the Guards Bureau, and the Guards Command. Also marching were the Army Corps, which are maintaining the greatest alertness on the forefront of national defense. Marching were the columns of the Naval Force and the Air Force, the column of the Strategic Force, a symbol of the irresistibility of the armed forces of the DRPK, and the columns of Special Operation Forces. Kim Jong-un sent militant greetings to the Life Guardsmen. Marching bravely were the columns of the Army Corps in charge of the defense of Pyongyang and those defending the coastline, borders, and depth of the rear of the country. The columns of the Tank Armor Division, the Mechanized Infantry Division, and the General Bureau of Reconnaissance were followed by the columns of Special and Duty Services, including the column of the 191st Information Commanding Brigade. When the column of the 1st Mobile Hospital entered the square, the people sent warm congratulations and warm applause to the medics of the Korean People's Army. Marching were the columns of military academies at all levels, including those of Kim Il-sung Military University, Kim Jong-il Military and Political University, and Kim Il-sung University of Politics. Students of the revolutionary schools marched at the end of the walking columns. Kim Jong-un raised his hand to encourage the successors to the revolution. Parading flight of the Juche-oriented Air Force began, shaking the night sky of the square on the Army Day. Columns of the mechanized units began their parading march. Entering the square with the columns of cabots at the head were the columns symbolizing the mechanized units during the Fatherland Liberation War, including the columns of motorcycles and anti-tank guns. Then there was a demonstration of the main arms and equipment of the Korean People's Army. The column of main tanks was followed by the artillery. Marching were the tactical missile, long-range cruise missile, tactical nuclear operation units, and intercontinental ballistic missile columns. At the end of the military parade of the Korean People's Army, fireworks were set off, decorating the night sky of the Army Day beautifully. Kim Jong-un warmly acknowledged the enthusiastic cheers of the crowd.
General officers of the Korean People's Army, including Kang Seung-nam, Park Soo-il, Song Yong-taek, and other commanding officers of the Ministry of National Defense and commanders of the large combined units, visited the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, the Supreme Temple of Taipei, on the 9th, on the occasion of the 75th founding anniversary of the heroic Korean People's Army. A floral basket in the name of the Korean People's Army was laid before the full-length statues of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. The visitors paid noble respects to the full-length statues of the great leaders. They paid a tribute to Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il with humblest reverence in the halls of immortality where they are laid in state. General officers of the Korean People's Army, the backbone of the armed forces of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, visited the Revolutionary Martyrs Cemetery on Mount Daesung and paid high respects to the anti-Japanese revolutionary martyrs on the 9th, on the occasion of the 75th founding anniversary of the heroic Korean People's Army. The visitors included Kang Seung-nam, Park Soo-il, Song Yong-taek, and other commanding officers of the Ministry of National Defense and commanding military and political personnel of the large combined units and combined units of the Korean People's Army. Guards of honor of the Korean People's Army were lining up at the cemetery. The national anthem of the DRPK was played. Amid the playing of the wreath-laying music, wreaths were placed, representing the warm respect of the officers and men of the whole army for the anti-Japanese revolutionary forerunners. The visitors observed the moment's silence in memory of the anti-Japanese revolutionary martyrs. There was marching in file of the Guards of Honor of the Korean People's Army. The general officers of the Korean People's Army looked around the cemetery. Service personnel of the Korean People's Army participating in the celebrations of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army enjoyed themselves during their stay in the capital city Pyongyang amid the welcome of its citizens from the day when they arrived in the city. In the plaza of the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, they offered greetings of best wishes to the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, looking up to their smiling portraits. They visited Mangyongdae, the sacred place of the revolution where the great leader Kim Il-sung was born, and the Korean Revolution Museum. They also called at the Revolutionary Martyrs Cemetery on Mount Daesung, the Patriotic Martyrs Cemetery in Sinmiri, and the Fatherland Liberation War Martyrs Cemetery, and laid bouquets before them. They visited the Arms and Equipment Museum of the Korean People's Army and the Revolutionary Museum of the Ministry of National Defense. Receptions were given at the People's Palace of Culture, the Ongyu Restaurant, the Cheongyu Restaurant, and the Pyongyang Middle House on the 9th in honor of the activists in the assistance to the army who were invited as special representatives to the celebrations of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army. Present there were Kim Do-kun, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and Vice President of the State Affairs Commission and Premier of the Cabinet of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and other senior officials of the party, the government, and the military. Speeches were made at the receptions. The speaker said with great excitement that having a deep understanding of the efforts and merits of the activists in the assistance to the army, who were conducive to the great cause of building a wealthy country with a powerful army, the respected Comrade Kim Jong-un specially invited them to the event of military parade to be noteworthy as the greatest political festival in the history of the army and showed utmost love and solicitude to them. And that's the end of the news, read by Chae Song-nam and Cha Yun-kyung. This is Voice of Korea.
Now here's female scholar in Pangchang, O Tender-Hearted Father.
to cover the mountains of the country with green roofs. Forest creation is a patriotic undertaking of lasting significance for the prosperity of the country. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un is energetically leading the forest restoration campaign in order to turn the country into a thickly wooded paradise for the people good to live in. Ryung Song-han, senior official of the Ministry of Land and Environment Protection, says,
2014년 11월 9일 경영 상상께서는
On November the 10th, 2014, the respected General Secretary Kim Jong-un gave field guidance to the Central Tree Nursery under the Ministry of Land and Environment Protection and ardently called on all to turn out in the forest restoration campaign, regarding it as a war to improve nature. A few months later, he made public his famous work, let the entire party, the whole army, and all the people conduct a vigorous forest restoration campaign to cover the mountains of the country with green roofs, kindling the flames of patriotism in the hearts of the entire people once again. Whenever he saw a thick forest on his field guidance tour, he was pleased more than anybody else and highly praised those who contributed to the forest creation and management as patriots. Kim Jong-un had modern tree nurseries built across the country, saying that growing saplings is the first process of forest creation. He visited tree nurseries and stressed the need to produce lots of saplings of good species. Under his energetic leadership, forest creation is vigorously promoted as a nationwide and all-people drive, and the appearance of the country drastically changed in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
There was an account under the title, "To Cover the Mountains of the Country with Green Woods." This is the voice of Korea. Now, we'd appreciate the song, "My Country Fills with Hope." My country is brilliant forever under the bright sun and stars. We advance to the rosy future with the greatest pride in the world. Great is the place where we live, the bosom of Marshal Kim Jong-un. Oh, my country, endless with the people's hopes for prosperity.
지나 시 뜨겁게 밝네 파라는
Here is light music. Friends, let us sing of the affection. Now you'll appreciate female chorus, We Love Party Flag. Now, you'd appreciate light music for piano. If our mother party wishes. Please enjoy the Korean folk song, Moran Hill.
Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 7,570 kHz and 12,015 kHz. For North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 9,435 kHz and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kHz 9,445 kHz and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.